This is Jack Burton, the pork chop.
Already fucked it up. Already fucked it up. 2 seconds into it, you blew it. You friggin' blew it.
Showtime. Welcome to Hey, did you ever see that movie? I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Lynn.
I'm a reasonable guy, and I've just seen some very unreasonable things.
And joining us again, the podcaster with a degree in terror, Tony.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, this week we will be discussing the 1986 action fantasy Big Trouble in Little China, written and directed by John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall. As always, this movie will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back and listen to the podcast. And now it's time for another episode of Disaster Piece Theater. So sit back and enjoy the show. Welcome to Disaster Piece Theater, where me and my two co-hosts will act out one scene from the movie that we are reviewing for you this evening. So please, sit back, grab some popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Quiet on the set!
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Whoa, who's that?
Daniel-san, you know how rare that is, Jack?
How can you tell from here she has green eyes?
Not her, Daniel-san. She's trouble like Allie. Remember, she crashed your car on prom night. Green eyes, like creamy jade.
Trouble, huh? Can I ask you a serious question?
Absolutely not.
Well then, have you ever just considered jumping into,
Sure, but never with a person in your condition.
Let's talk about my condition. What's wrong with it?
You should try standing downwind where I am. It's Miller time.
Cut!
Okay.
Miyagi, Goem, and John Wayne. That's great.
Oh, shit.
I was going to try to do Fran Drescher, and it just wasn't happening.
Okay, and now it's time for Dez's 4-in-1 fun and one fake fact, where it will be up to my two co-hosts to decide which fact is total bullshit. All right, so fact number 1. Kurt Russell suffered a bad case of the flu during the scene just after the brothel, so the sweat that you see on his body is real. Number 2. Jackie Chan was John Carpenter's first choice to play Wang Chi, but producer Lawrence Gordon was highly against it, fearing Chan's English wasn't good enough, but Carpenter still wanted him. Jackie Chan ultimately turned the role down. Kurt Russell based Jack Burton on John Wayne. John Carpenter came up with the idea for this movie while eating dinner with friends in Chinatown. And number 5, although Kurt Russell was John Carpenter's only choice for the lead role, the studio suggested both Jack Nicholson and Clint Eastwood. Tony, which fact is bullshit?
Eating dinner in Chinatown came up with the idea. The rest are all pretty accurate.
Okay, and Delyn, what do you think?
Oh, I would defer to Tony. I was leaning towards number 3, but I think I'm going to go with 4 with him.
Fuck, I should have gone to Delyn first. I should have known Tony had this one wired. Okay, yeah, you guys got me. It was definitely the Chinatown napkin bullshit. Okay, with a budget of $25 million and a box office gross of $11 million, this movie was a huge disappointment to the studio. Tony, what have you heard about a possible sequel to this movie?
My friends and I have written sequels. We have wished for sequels. There is no sequel happening. Kurt Russell's been actually asked at conventions, the few that he goes to, if he would love to do it. He's like, I'll do anything. I mean, that's a good thing about Kurt Russell is he just wants to work. I mean, the man was played Santa Claus twice, for God's sakes. I mean, the man will do anything, and he just has a blast doing it, and he always does a great job with anything the man touches is gold to me.
I heard that there was talks of a sequel, and it was going to have The Rock playing Jack.
Yeah, that was
We
about 8 years ago, but that doesn't count because if it's not Kurt Russell, it's not Big Trouble in Little China.
totally agreed, and it's funny that you say that because this is one of those movies, like last week, without, without Jack Russell being played by, um, Kurt, it's just not happening. This movie sucks. I'm a Jack Burton fan before I'm a fan of this movie.
Oh God, yeah. I
I would
mean,
also like to
it's
point out that even though it was considered a flop in the day, not so anymore. It definitely has cult following, obviously, and if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 80%, 85%. It's got a great score.
no, it's a fun movie. I mean, that's the thing. It's one of those movies. Aside from like an F bomb and a couple of swears here and there, it really is just a comic book kids movie.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of graphic violence in it. There's very little sexual innuendos. And if what there is there, I mean, I was ready to let my son watch it and jump on the podcast with us, but I'm like, I can't have my kid listen to Des. What the hell am I thinking
It's
there?
oh, yeah, he needs therapy.
I don't need that kind of education for him yet.
He'd have a podcast like 10 years from now, and he'd be like looking for therapy because he had to hang out with Des for an hour and a half. It's like, there was this guy, and he said this shit.
I heard these words I've never heard before.
It's funny you said that though, because I don't actually remember there being any F bombs in this. And I can tell you for sure there was no blood except for the scene where Lopan pokes the woman and pokes himself. I think that's the only blood in this entire movie.
It is with all the gunshots, with all the stabbings. It's
Yeah.
very old school TV. You know, the gumshoe shoots the bank robber and he goes down holding his chest. It's
Yeah.
the only F is when they're trying to get through the elevator. And he knocks on the elevator. Is it hollow? Yeah. Oh fuck it, and just cuts it. And
Oh,
it's
so
so
there is.
quick. They tried to get it by, but it's what got them in trouble. That was the only one they could leave in there because I guess there were a few more he had to cut out, but that was the
But
one that got by.
it's still got a PG, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I think this movie would have been better if it was rated R. Just my opinion.
I think it would have got a bigger audience, but again, it didn't know what it wanted to be. Did it want to be a fairy tale? Did it want to be a fun little fable, or did it want to be a comedy or an action movie? It is literally all of those, and
Oh,
that's why I like it because it's schizophrenic. I mean, Kurt Russell is such an over the top ham in the middle of these fight scenes, and he's such a loser. He's not even the hero. Everyone like Jack Burton, but he's the bumbling idiot, which
Oh,
makes it
he's a
even better.
meatball.
Yeah.
yeah. It's funny you say that because I'm watching the movie and I'm thinking the same thing to myself. Like I'm confused while I'm watching. I'm like, what is the genre of this movie? Is this a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it an action movie? Is it a spaghetti western? What am I watching? Um, but that's what makes it so wonderful is Jack Burton because he's so horrifyingly goofy, but he's playing it so straight, but he knows he's not. And that's what's great about it.
Oh, it's the bravado. I mean,
Yeah.
even it's funny because the scene that my friends and I used to quote all the time is like after they drink the potion from the seven demon bag, they're like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, hey, all right, they give everyone else equals his level of ego, which is kind of fun for a little while, where everyone is that level, and that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only movie that I would compare to it is Shaun of the Dead, which really it's a comedy, but it's a straight up horror, like has horrific scenes. It's a scary movie, but it crosses the genres so well. It doesn't even there's no speed bump. Where movies like maybe From Dusk Till Dawn, gangster movie, gangster movie, gangster movie, cool movie, suddenly vampire. It feels like a totally disjointed jump.
Yeah.
This one crosses all the genres as it goes and just doesn't care.
It
Right.
That's
really
why I
does.
like it.
What I thought was funny too was I really thought it was funny the way they gave us these dumps of exposition, but they were doing it with almost a wink of an eye, like
Yeah.
and then low pan and he's into the downtown, and they'd almost give the camera a look like, did you get all that?
Oh yeah, Gracie. Oh, we're gonna go to the White Tiger. The White Tiger, where all the women are suddenly disappeared from the mafia. And it's like, yeah, it's this big one.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, that's what it is. I got it.
Okay, exactly. And of course, Kurt Russell's Jack Burton, doing the John Wayne and doing it so shamelessly and so good. It was great, taking himself so seriously and just bringing it, just fucking
I mean,
bringing it.
it definitely rivals Christian Slater's Jack Nicholson in Heather's as far as who's idolizing more
Yeah,
in
who's
their
ripping
performance.
harder?
Yeah.
This is a pretty heavy John Wayne, Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
cock and bow me there, pot. He's bringing it. All right, so give us the synopsis and let's do
Yeah,
it.
also hold on, I am popping way hard. Hold on.
Pop that shit. Pop a cock.
Popping away. That's a different meaning in my world, Angeline. I don't know. And you don't have those parts unless I'm something I don't know about.
Check. Checkity check, check. That's better. It kept going up into the red. So can we also mention for just a moment the glorious hair and the glorious boots?
Thank
Like
you.
just those not you.
Oh, sorry.
Those boots are redonkulous. Just we had to look them up online. I was like, let's look. I gotta see what these are up close. And they were selling a screen used pair, and
Oh my God.
they're
How
like
much?
I didn't even see the price, but it was like rawhide and buttons and like it looked like alligator skin. I'm like, what even are these things? They're amazing.
I would be
Amazing.
lying if I didn't say that I didn't have a replica tank top of Jack Burton's in my attic packed away because it's the coolest design.
As you
Uh,
should.
I was saying to
Exactly.
Delin, they almost look like the button over Confederate boots that they wore, a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
almost like a
Oh.
redneck version.
yeah, like those things could take a musket for sure.
Oh, but I mean, Kurt Russell's hair in all his movies is epic. I mean, man played Elvis, McCready in The Thing, between the beard and the hair, just
Yeah, true.
glorious. It's
Yeah.
True.
epic. Epic
Yeah,
hair.
he's got some great hair. All right, so here's our synopsis. Kurt Russell plays hard-boiled trucker Jack Burton, who gets caught in a bizarre conflict within and underneath San Francisco's Chinatown. An ancient Chinese prince and Chinatown crime lord has kidnapped a beautiful green-eyed woman who is the fiancée to Jack's good friend. Jack must help him rescue the girl before the evil Lopan uses her to break the ancient curse that keeps him a fleshless and immortal spirit.
Ooh,
Ooh.
scary.
Na.
So that opening scene, well, go ahead. Give us the opening scene.
Okay. Truck driver Jack Burton, played by Kurt Russell, and his friend Wang Chi, played by Dennis Dunn, go to the San Francisco International Airport to pick up Wang's fiancée Miao Yin, Susie Pai, I believe it's pronounced. While at the airport, a Chinese street gang called the Lords of Death kidnap Miao Yin and take her into Chinatown, intent on selling her as a sex slave. So I jump over the scene in the
The
lawyer's
best part of
office.
the movie, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Hold on.
Scroll.
The opening scene encompasses a lot. The Burton monologue in his CB on the way into San Francisco, the gambling at the docks, the airport with the Chinese gang, and those white sunglasses that with the
You
slit.
can't see
Oh
through.
my God.
How do you
So
see through?
racist.
They
So
seem
racist.
kind of racist, honestly.
I was
You
just about to
can't
say,
wear
how do you
those.
see through that? Then I'm like, oh, but they're Chinese. Never mind.
Oh, they're so bad.
But yeah, please feel free to pop back to the lawyer's office.
Oh, not even. I want to go to the.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So the lawyer's office. This was not something that the director wanted. This
Right.
was something that the studio wanted, because they did not want an Asian hero in this. They wanted Jack to be the hero, and they were afraid that without this scene, the egg would be considered the hero of the movie. So
Wang.
they added, Egg, right?
The old
Is that his
guy?
name? Yeah.
Oh no,
they
it was
thought-
Oh, really? I
It
thought
was,
Wang was
his
kind of
friend.
the hero.
Yeah. He was the kick-ass. He was the guy who did everything. His fiance was the one who was kidnapped. I felt he was more of the hero.
And when Burton ends up being the sidekick to him, pretty much.
Yeah,
Well, okay, so I got that wrong because I had read this on online but that scene was added specifically to set up Jack as the hero, because they felt that people would think it was, you're right, Wang.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course the truck, the opening scene there with Jack, talking into his microphone, that uncut, beautiful, 4 minutes of monologue. Who's he talking to? Is this like
that's the best part. Nobody.
An antique podcast? Is that what he's doing?
Podcasting, pre-podcasting.
I mean, was the microphone plugged in?
And the big sandwich, he's like,
oh, the Subway fucking 6-inch. He's like,
yeah, it couldn't be more American.
America,
yeah,
fuck yeah.
That opening monologue is fucking phenomenal.
Checks
And then
in the
there's
mail.
a stenographer in the office, like a woman. Like, why is she typing everything they're talking about?
I don't know. I don't know if you go to your lawyer that's what they do. I don't
Well, I
think.
took it was a deposition. That's kind of how I took it.
Mm,
Is that
Oh, okay.
he was, before they got into something, because like they said, half of Chinatown blew up in green fire. Someone's going to be held accountable. So anybody they're bringing in, they're going to question.
yeah.
And then they didn't have recorders back then, so easily accessible. So get Marge with the stenographer, machine, and we'll go it.
Glorious green fire, I must say.
Like creamy jade, if you
Oh,
will.
it's like so good. All the effects in this, every effect in this movie, I thought looked just really, really good, except for that fucking stupid monster, man. It's like they ran
Oh
out of
yeah.
money, and he had like a 6-year-old kid make a like, hey, make us a monster. All right, we got like
Between
$12
yeah,
left.
that and the thing that came out of the wall, and all of a sudden they show it coming out. You hear the roar. They cut to the jewels, and all of a sudden it's going back in with 2 legs sticking out of it. It's like,
Yeah,
did
yeah.
we? It's like, oh god.
But
Yeah,
the
that one
monster
was
Okay.
with the
rough.
floppy toes and
Yeah.
everything, oh, it was so bad. I wish they didn't put it in.
Yeah, they could
Um,
have skipped that. I was saying you could have gotten one of the storms to take her.
yeah,
Lightning, thunder, rain. One of them could have just grabbed her. They didn't need that monster.
yeah.
But
They had some money.
ju- yeah. All right. So let's see here. You guys want to talk about that Chinese gang?
Well,
Uh,
I want to jump back because I think what
yes.
what confused me, like, I mean, I'm going back to when I was a kid because watching it now I know how it ends, but it's like when he's talking to Wang, and Wang, is it Wang? Yeah,
Yes, Wang.
when he's
Mhm.
talking to his buddy, and he tries to hit him with the bottle. It's like that's not a friend move. That's a dick move. You're trying to
Mm.
knock him out and run away. It's like, why is he all of a sudden want to help him? I mean, I get he wants to get his money, because he bet in nothing or double, which it kept bugging the shit out of me. It was backwards, but whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like I love that move because it shows how cool Jack could be, and you expect him to be for the rest of the movie, but then he's just not.
It's
Yeah.
so great you said that because as we were watching it, I said, as he laid the bottle down, he went through it. I said, that's going to hit Jack in the forehead. Because, like, I saw it coming right away. But obviously, Jack also saw it coming because he was ready. And
Yeah,
I said, man, that guy's got some good hand to eye coordination. He was like, wow. And
it's
he
all in the
grabs it.
reflexes. Oh,
So good. It was so good.
That was funny.
but yeah, the gang that couldn't be any more 80s and more racist if you tried.
Yeah, it was pretty
So bad.
ridiculous. It was
So
really bad.
bad.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and,
bad.
and Kim Cattrall just is awful in this movie as far as like she's so overacting in every delivery that she has, and everything is just showing her wide green eyes, like the context is like on full display, like wide-eyed, and it's
Yep.
like, I don't know. She's the only thing about this movie that really makes me go, oh god damn, well, all right, we'll let it go because I understand that's what she's supposed to be, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I actually said to Delin when she first comes into the restaurant and she looks to the side and what does she say? What was the
She goes,
line?
"I'm Gracie Law."
I'm
Yeah.
Gracie Law. She looks off to the side and I'm like, all right, she's a good foil to Jack because I see what she's trying to do. She's trying to do what he's doing. I mean, she's not doing it as good as Kurt Russell, but
Yeah.
I'm digging the vibe between the two of them for
I mean,
sure.
yeah, their back and forth was great. Him trying and her shutting down, but it's there. It's like, the throwaway line that he's like, "Well, I can't go with you because I'm not." Yeah, I know. There's something wrong with your face. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a great callback to what she said before. It's like, yeah, yeah, whatever. Pat, pat, pat. Go on.
Yeah, guilty pleasure for me, Sex in the City. So of course, I loved her in
Really.
that. And then they came out with and Just Like That, which was that HBO series they did for 2 seasons, which I
You should go
can't
put
wait.
on
It's
your cone
coming
of
back.
shame.
No way, it's awesome. When they
No,
go to
no,
Dubai.
no, no. It's not.
So
It's.
are you coming Tony, you coming on for the Sex in the City movies, the 1 and 2?
I will actually jump on for that just to Twilight that. Because I hate my poor. You know what? All right, this is a total side story. I made a bet with my, like, you have to watch all the Friday 13th with me. She's like, fine, you have to watch all the Twilights with me. I'm like, fuck, all right, I'll do it.
Oh shit.
And those were fucking painful. And she's like, I only commented a few times with these. I'm like, that's because this Friday 13th are fucking Shakespeare compared to the shit in Twilight. So if we ever do a Twilight movie, I'm fucking ready. I got 4 hours worth of material off of 10 minutes of that fucking spider monkey scene. So
Oh
it's just
shit.
god awful. I
I've never
fucking hate
watched a
those movies.
second of
I
it.
hate everything about them. Every piece of dial. The fact that I went to Comic Con, like I live my life. I'm a big geek. I want to go to San Diego Comic Con. I love this. This is going to be a big epic thing. I went there the first year Twilight came out, and everything was Team Jacob, Team Edward. It was literally packed with tween girls pretending to be goth vampires. I'm sitting there going, "We're fresh out of Man Ray at this point." I'm like, "What the fuck are these kids doing?"
Oh
So I'm
shit.
just like, "Oh, anyway." Story for another
That's
time. You hit a trigger. Sorry.
that's fucking amazing. Did you guys recognize Egg from The Golden Child?
Oh yeah.
I did not.
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
funny thing was, that's one of the pieces of trivia that I read is that Golden Child was scheduled to come out right around the same time as this, and John Carpenter's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, how many Asian mythology movies are there? And you're going to
yeah,
release the same one at the same time?
yeah. It's similar, but
Yeah,
um,
crazy.
I, yeah, and it's funny because Golden Child. Now that's a movie that I've seen 502 times, just because. But I've never seen this. I don't know how this
Oh
happened.
man,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really not sure how this one flew by you.
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
All right.
go
All
ahead.
right,
On we go. So Jack and Wang give chase, and in the back alleys of Chinatown, they get caught in the middle of a gang battle. The Wing Kong interrupt a funeral procession the Chang Sing are having for their recently assassinated leader. During the street battle, powerful magicians in league with the Wing Kong, called the Three Storms, thunder, rain, and lightning, use their supernatural powers to turn the tide and overpower the Chang Sing. Trying to escape, Jack runs over the Wing Kong leader, the sorcerer Lo Pan, played by James Hong. However, Lo Pan is not harmed by this, and Wang has to help Jack after he's temporarily blinded by Lo Pan's glowing eyes by splashing dirty puddle water in
street
his
water.
face.
Piss water in his eyes.
So we've been having a lot of conversations in the house over the past couple days about what came first, Mortal Kombat, this movie, because obviously these, the storms look a lot like Raiden, and Lo Pan looks like Shang Tsung, and
You're
so
wrong.
this movie predates Mortal Kombat. The Mortal Kombat's 92 and this is 96. So
Yeah, we just talked
No,
about that a few minutes ago.
no, that's wrong. She's
Yeah.
saying that Mortal
Oh
Kombat
no,
came out
this
first.
No.
came
This came out
first.
first.
this came first.
This
That's what I'm
came
Okay,
saying.
yeah,
first. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and we were actually talking about it. So I had written down that Lightning is Raiden, Jack is Johnny Cage, Wang is Ryu, and Chang Sun is Lo Pan. And they're shamelessly ripped off. Shamelessly. So I imagine some guy that worked for Capcom. Is that who did it?
I
I
think
think so.
Blizzard. I can't think of there.
I've got
Midway.
a
It's
Mortal
Midway.
Kombat. I have a Mortal Kombat machine right over there behind me. I mean, it's an arcade one up, but
Twist it.
it's one that I dressed up. It's one that I dressed up real nice. I've got Dragon's Lair right here next to me. But yeah, so I don't know what it's on it, but it doesn't matter.
It was
I
Midway Games.
Okay, Midway. So I imagine some like, Midway like future programmer watching this movie and then fast forward, 4 years later, and he's like pitching this idea to his boss, like, and then there's this guy that does lightning and the eyes, and yeah, come on. Fucking rip this off.
Well, this movie won't go anywhere. No one's going to remember this movie, so no one will ever put a two and two together.
Yeah, just like I made some mistakes like that back in the day, and then the internet came around. I'm like, fuck. Maybe that band name wasn't as original as I portrayed it to be.
No, my song is "She's Got Looks That Thrill." That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I had stolen the name of a band from California and brought it back to Boston and ran it for a season or so. And I'm like, that was pretty clever. And then, the internet came up and
Mhm.
dudes are like, dude, you fucking ripped that name off. I'm like, yeah, I fucking did. Suck.
Fine.
That's shameless.
Yeah.
So this gang war that they go into the middle of. So like I was saying to you, Tony, it's funny. The war starts off with like a spaghetti western scene where the guy's like got the twitching fingers above the 2.6 shooters on the
Yeah.
holsters.
Mhm.
I thought that was really cool to add that into a Asian gang fight.
Oh, what I understand is that John Carpenter actually originally wrote this as a western,
Okay.
and
Yes.
they were supposed to steal. I was going to say John Wayne's Kurt Russell's horse instead of his truck, and then they talked about it and they basically readapted it to be modern time, and so but he liked so much of the elements he just left it.
I
Can we
like
also
it.
talk about how on the front of the truck it's hauling ass with
hauling
like
ass.
with the girl,
with the metal
the
girl.
girl silhouette. I was like, "Oh my god, it's
So
so
good.
cheesy, but it's so perfect."
Yeah.
And when this right when this gang fight is about to happen and the different members start popping out, I'm like, this is fucking Beat It. I'm like, we're about to watch the Beat It video, an Asian
Dude.
version of the Beat It video. And I also thought in the lawyer's office that this movie was starting to have a couple of like little like just saisons of Blade Runner. Just like it's in Chinatown. You've got the office. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was reading into it a
I
little bit,
actually
but
bring up Blade Runner in the write up later, so it's
okay.
actually funny that
Okay.
I felt a little flavor of Blade Runner as well.
A little saison, a little
A
nutty
little.
eat on cheese. Okay. That's from Sideways for anybody that's never seen it. One of my favorites. Okay. So yeah, if you guys know everything else on that scene, let's move forward.
All right, I'm ready. So Jack abandons his truck and the Lords of Death take it. Wang takes Jack to his restaurant, the Dragon of the Black Pool, where they meet up with lawyer Gracie Law, played by Kim Cattrall, Wang's friend Eddie Lee, played by Donald Lee, and Uncle Chu, played by Chow Lee Chi. And Egg Shen, also played by Victor Wong, a Chinatown bus driver who's also a Lopan lore expert. Said that funny. They come up with a plan to infiltrate the brothel where they think Miao Yin is being held. Once inside, Jack, in disguise, starts to question one of the girls, but is interrupted when the storms crash in and make off with Miao Yin. So this is where Blade Runner comes in. Jack Burton's nerdy guy routine here reminded me of Harrison Ford in Blade Runner when he talks to Zora in the at Taffy Lewis's.
I could see that now that you
Yeah.
said it.
Absolutely.
Didn't even pick up
Absolutely.
on that. That's really great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Like it just
totally
had that
is.
flavor. Like it was like, oh, you know, and the tie and the glasses. And I was just like, oh my God. I said, that's so Blade Runner.
Yeah, of moral what was it?
I
Yeah, I can't
forget.
remember. Yeah, it's it though.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? In this movie, I really liked it. And I liked how they changed his hair too for the scene. Like they
Yeah.
really changed his hair for the scene. But in Blade Runner, I was just like, what the fuck, man? That voice that Harrison and Blade Runner is for me is just but that voice that Harrison Ford uses in that scene, I'm just like, and he's slipping in and out of it, and I just didn't like it. It's one of the shinks in the armor in Blade Runner.
But I think Jack Burton pulled it off.
Yo, hell yeah,
That's-
Jack Burton.
Can't do no wrong.
And the suit he's wearing, what was the movie, honey? Used Cars?
Used cars.
Used cars, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's the same suit. I think he probably
Yeah.
just went to wardrobe and just was like, yoink, and took it.
yeah, absolutely. And he's in that blue silk fucking robe on the phone,
Oh yeah.
cranking with this insurance agency. The insurance number's in the fucking glove box.
Don't tell me, act of God.
Yeah,
It's just his rambling just goes and he's so good at just going with the character. Like it
yes.
really doesn't feel scripted at all. Like he's so natural at his deliveries as Jack Burton. I literally could listen to every line he does over and over. It's just perfect.
Yeah, it kind of brings me back to talk radio. Same thing. Just like an
Yeah.
actor, just like falling into a character and just riffing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's working. It's absolutely working.
Yeah, he has whatever it takes like to lock into this character. He just got it. He has it.
Yeah, yeah. He
All
was
right.
shamelessly ripping.
Yeah, but it was good. But it was like
Yeah.
because here's the thing: John Wayne is not a meatball, but Jack Burton is. So it's like
Yeah.
if this is somebody who is trying to be John Wayne but is not, you know.
And
Yeah, well,
that rubber knife he's carrying around through the whole movie. Fucking that knife is, and I love that. That's the camp that really made this movie charming to me because it's not like they're going for yucks. They're not going for laughs. There's almost no jokes written into this, but I'm laughing through the whole fucking thing. It's the
Yeah.
deliveries of these lines.
And then the
Yeah.
hell of the upside down death. You know, it's like how many hells you guys got? It's like, oh, so good.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Tony, did John Carpenter mean for this to be as funny as it was, or was he shooting for something else?
He was just from what I've read in the past, he was just going for what he just wanted to have fun with the movie, and he wanted to make it what it was. He wanted to, I think one of the early conversations, if I remember reading it correctly, is that Kurt Russell read the script. He's like, dude, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm coming off a string of flops. You've had a few, and John Carpenter said, I don't care about the money. I just want to make this movie with you. So it was almost like
I
he
love that.
knew what it was, and he's like, fuck it, let's just do it.
So it's like
and
a
they had a
vanity
blast because I mean
project.
every movie they've made together, I have loved. I mean, Escape from New York, Escape from L.A., as bad as it is, The Thing, and even Elvis is an amazing version of Elvis. I mean, you wouldn't think Kurt Russell could really pull that off, but back in the late, 79, 80, he actually pulled off Elvis.
As
So
much as I loved Escape from New York, the second one was so funny because it was so campy. Like, isn't that the one where he rides the fucking surfboard? Like,
Surfboard
with
down
the
Broadway, yeah, down
hey,
down
down
Sunset,
Broadway.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Peter, not yeah, Peter Fonda is surfing with him. I'm like the stoner Peter Fonda is
yeah.
surfing with Snake Plissken down,
But but then the basketball game in the first one.
Uh,
I mean,
oh no, that was the second one.
was it okay? So the
Yeah,
second
it
one
was
for me,
terrible.
but I loved it. It was like this. It was so bad. It was good.
Yeah, I mean Bruce Campbell is the plastic surgeon, has too much plastic surgery in his face, and
Yes,
it was
yes,
just, and it was literally beat for beat for beat for beat a carbon copy of Escape from New York. It's
hmm
like, here's the tragedy. We're going to fly him in. We're going to leave him there. We're going to double cross him. He's got to go through a sporting event, whether it's a boxing or it's a basketball. He's going to run into this. He's going to have to do this fly or drive, and now he's going to have to surf. So it literally
yeah.
was beat for beat, and but you know what? I'll watch it every time it's on.
Absolutely. And it's funny because as much of a campy movie as Escape from New York was, this was like almost like a camp version of that. Like they
Yeah,
just doubled down or tripled down. And that's what I thought was fun about that movie.
Can we
definitely.
also on the panel speaks, do we think that the pinnacle of the Carpenter Russell is The Thing?
Yeah.
Like
We'll
that's
find out on the next podcast because that's the next one we're going to do with Tony because I kind of want to do a Kurt
Oh,
Russell back to back,
all right.
and it would be fun to do another Tony's Tales of Terror. So I think
that movie is
it's just
so
the right
good.
movie to
You
do.
don't even need to watch it. We could do it right after this if you want. I'm
Really,
ready to go.
I haven't seen it since I probably haven't seen it since I was like maybe 16, and
Oh wow.
I remember really being impressed by it. And I did see the remake of it, and I thought that was very good too. But I was telling Tony when we were going back and forth about talking about the thing, I thought that was Chris Christopherson. I remembered it being Chris Christopherson.
You did a lot of drugs in the '80s, man. It's okay.
And
It's all right
90s
then.
and early 2000s.
Yesterday.
No, 8 years sober. 8 years sober, everybody.
Good for
So I
you.
know
Good
I
for
always
you.
talk about what a maniac I am, but no, I've changed my ways.
Good for
Oh
you.
my
Except for
god.
Yeah.
We
those.
thought it was Chris Christopherson.
Yeah. Stay off drugs, kids, or
Yep.
you'll be watching Chris Christopherson in the thing.
Stay off drugs. Get on your rollerblades. I saw the clip.
Yeah. Dude, on the fruit boots.
Yeah. We'll bring that up in a different time.
Fruit
That has not
boots.
gotten forgotten. You have not off the hook for that one yet.
Oh shit. That's
Anyway,
funny.
where are
Okay.
we, Dylan?
Keep rolling.
Okay. Here we go. After the brothel, they are back in Gracie's apartment. They find out that Miao Yin was taken to a place called the Wing Kong Exchange, a front from Lo Pan's domain. Jack and Wang infiltrate the palace through the business front, but the two get caught in a lift that fills up with water. They open the elevator doors into a water-filled room with upside-down dead bodies in various states of decay. Wang claims it's the hell of the upside-down sinners. Rain then finds them and he takes them to a cell where he grabs Wang by the neck and sends rubber balls to Jack's stomach with force. So, Des, I thought that the rubber balls were a strange choice for a guy with superpowers, but I guess everyone, even Rain, needs a hobby. So,
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird. But what I did notice was when they go under the water and they're in the room with the chains and the bodies.
mhm.
So there's one decomposing body that I found was like really, really well done. It was creepy looking. And that scene is basically the finish scenes in Mortal Kombat with all the chains and the bodies chained up everywhere. I
Hmm.
mean,
Mhm.
it's almost note for note again. So we're seeing some really, really heavy parallels and some ripoffs here.
Oh yeah, I mean that scene as well as the where he finally with the finale happens with all the idols lined up. That's also in Mortal Kombat as well. I mean, they
Yes, it
literally
is.
they bought it from me. And then the only other one I can think of is obviously Enter the Dragon, which is one of the
Yes.
festivals. That's in I mean, Mortal Kombat. We can go through and just pinpoint what they ripped off,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the scene in the elevator before the water comes in, when you see Jack sweating, that is all real sweat from the fever that he had that I had mentioned in the five fun facts. So yeah,
Cool.
he was really
Well, not
spiking.
cool. I mean, I feel bad for him, but.
He was spiking there.
Gotta do the job.
Oh, my
Do the job.
goodness.
and just the way he reacts to everything is just like, oh god damn. It's like
Oh,
son of a bitch must pay. It's like what a
yeah.
great line. Like those don't even go together, but it
Oh,
works for
so good.
him. Son
So
of a
good.
bitch, and he drags everything out. So you
Yeah.
just
Son of
son of
a
a bitch
bitch.
must pay.
Exactly.
Oh, it's
Um,
so good.
so when he's in the brothel and he's talking to the prostitute and he's trying to press her for information, again, it's
It's
just
so bad.
classic Jack Burton. Like, so I guess a lot of women come in and out of here, huh? You know, like I bet you see a lot of women, maybe one with green eyes from time to time.
Sledgehammer, sledgehammer,
Yeah,
sledgehammer.
yeah, yeah. So fucking bad, and I loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, what's the word I'm looking for? Like finesse.
We've got no
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
No game.
None. None.
It's funny, I came into this after watching it the first time this morning. I didn't enjoy it the first time, honestly, because I don't know why. It just like I was saying to Dylan, I think this is a movie that you have to like have been brought up on as a dumb child and seen 500 times. So it's like drilled into your head. This is a good movie. I've watched this a million times, but I didn't have that experience. But I started rewatching it, and instantly it was like something just snapped in my head, and I was like, oh, I get it, this is Jack Burton. Okay. And everything turned around for me, and I started watching it the way I think you're supposed to watch this movie.
Yeah,
Kind of like the same thing that happened with Pat when he watched Dumb and Dumber. He didn't get it the first time, he hated it. And then he watched it again and was like, oh, I get it. It's Dumb and
Yeah.
Dumber.
Dumb.
there's a few movies I went back and revisited when I feel stupid. I mean, like Ravenous is one. I thought it was supposed to be a legitimate straight ahead horror movie. Not even close. It's a black comedy. And when I went back with those eyes, I'm like, genius movie. And this is
Yeah.
one of those ones. It's not supposed to be serious. It's not supposed to be a serious action movie. It's supposed to be a total takeoff of like the Indiana Jones, but a bumbling one. So I get it.
Yes.
I guess maybe I got it earlier. I never grew up thinking this was supposed to be an epic movie. It just was a fun, stupid movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a movie I'll watch again if it's on now, just because I just want to hear Kurt Russell deliver his lines.
Yeah,
Like it's just I'll sit there and just laugh. And I didn't want to give this movie a bad review and then a month from now or a year from now after watching it another two or three times be like, oh, you fucking dummy, gave it a bad review, you know? So I'm glad I went back and watched it again.
I think we
I
should
mean,
have
there's
one in like
definitely
it.
some. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it definitely has its struggles here and there where, like, like you were saying, Kim Cattrall overacts, and there's a couple moments where you're just like, okay, everybody, dial it down, But it's fun. It's fun.
The pacing
Definitely.
was a little bit slow in spots. It did drag a little bit in spots. I thought some of the fight scenes went on a little bit too long. And but they made up for it with exposition dumps that like just moved you through the plot very quickly and gave you a shitload of information.
Yeah,
So
all the neon will ever need.
yeah,
So that's
Pretty
good.
much.
okay.
All right. So afterwards, they're taken in wheelchairs to see Lopan, now in the form of a crippled old man. Jack demands his truck back, and Wang demands Miao Yin's return. Lopan reveals that his plan is to marry Miao Yin in order to appease the god that cursed him and regain his physical body. Lopan catches Gracie, Eddie, and Gracie's journalist friend Margot entering the building on his security monitor and sends Thunder to deal with them. Wang and Jack are taken back to a cell, still in their wheelchairs, when Wang tells Jack one of the exposition dumps about the 2,000-year-old legend of Lopan, that he was cursed to roam the earth in a ghost-like form until he can marry a girl with green eyes that can tame the burning blade. After marrying her, he must sacrifice her. They break free from the wheelchairs, but hearing Thunder's return, they get back into the wheelchairs and put their blindfolds back on. Thunder hangs up Eddie by the collar of his jacket, and Jack jumps Thunder, who manages to push Jack off of him and into his wheelchair, sending him back down the ramp and nearly into a deep well. Wang and Eddie make a diversion so Jack can rescue the imprisoned girls and get out safety. So, Tony, I actually think that this is around where Des got really confused about what was happening. And I think, it's easy to get lost track of the story because it's kind of like, okay, 2,000-year-old dude and all this stuff. But it explains his motivations as to why he wants Miao Yin so bad.
Yeah. I this is where I start like it for me. It turns into like this is where it goes total comedy for me, because seeing him wheel in and the first, oh, who's this guy? Ah, it's just like it's hard not to and he just shut up, Mr. Button. It's like such a beautiful character. He's so good at everything he does. Just another one of those actors that anything he's going to be in, I'm like, I love it. I'm going to love it.
Yep.
And where we really see how much of a doofus Jack is. It's like you're tied to a wheelchair. You're in the inner sanctum of the evil being. You're being told you're going to be destroyed and sent to the hell of a skinned alive people.
Yeah.
And you're telling them to shut up and go screw. It's like you're so just good character. He just has no concept of reality of like the die. And his friends like sweating like, no, Jack, stop. He's like, nah, this crippled guy. He's got nothing on me. And it's like, oh, so good. He's so good. I can't gush enough about Kurt Russell.
You are not meant to get it.
Mr. Patton.
And the makeup job on him, man. Like I was saying, he looked like he had the texture of the bad guy that went through the toxic sludge in RoboCop. Like he looked like he could just
Fall apart.
just melt it, yeah, fall apart at any moment. The back of his head, I wanted to be like,
Oh,
Just pick
stick my
things. Just
finger in it.
pick things. It's like the scabbies.
Yeah, I thought the makeup in this movie was great. I thought the special effects were great. The
Until Thunder blew up and got a little weird. That was a little.
that was a little weird.
The
It was.
shoes bursting, but we'll get to that.
The Lopan character when he's the in the god form was just it was beautiful. The makeup, the robe, the everything was just
That hat.
it was stunning. He was
Yeah.
stealing the screen when he was on it. I was just like, yeah, I really dug it.
I mean, that's the one thing I think Carpenter really went for. This he's like, you know what? The Thing was all blue. Halloween was all blue. Everything has its color palette. He just said, fuck it, let's go Technicolor, let's go Suspiria, let's go 80s over the top. Everything is going to be bright pink screens. And he nailed it. Like, I love the palette of this movie. I mean, not to get into all cinematography geeky, but it's
No,
it's a
do.
beautiful movie to look at, and right down to the characters. I mean, Jack Burton is you got the blue pants, the brown boots, the colorful tank top. His tan works as part of the outfit. As dumb as that sounds, it completes his character.
Yes.
And then you got the two women, Gracie Law and Mao Yin. Once they're in the ceremonial garb,
Oh,
Oh,
beautiful. Like that's
gorgeous.
costume
Gorgeous.
design.
so
The
good.
makeup and those headdresses and
Yeah.
just forget it.
And
Forget it.
specifically not Gracie's character, the other
Miao
one.
Yin.
With the white the
beads.
two
Yeah.
white beads coming down. Oh man, yeah, it was really, really good looking. And I love when the guy comes in and he does the thing with his hands with the lightning, and then their eyes flip over white.
Yep.
Yeah, really great scene. Really, really great scene. But that's why I was so disappointed in that monster. It just didn't fit in this movie. It was beyond B. It was like that was almost like film school uh monster building, for like high school kids. It was so bad.
It
So
was,
bad.
but it was such a small part of it. I let that go because I loved the beholder thing. The thing with all the
Yes.
eyeballs. Like I
Oh,
love the look of
Yes.
that. Like to
yeah,
me
I
that
wrote
was like
down
I've never
Slimer.
seen a better beholder than that. That was perfect.
It was Slimer. I mean, it almost looked like Slimer, but even more creative.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah, but
I
I mean, it
actually
looked.
had said I wish that the bowl holder had been what was still on his truck,
Yeah.
at the end. I mean, I know he got full of bullets, but I kind of was thinking that would have been cooler than the weird monster.
Yeah, I love when he shoots it. I don't know if you don't try.
Yeah.
When he shoots him.
Uh,
Yeah, really good.
Shoot first,
was
ask questions
awesome.
later.
Yeah, shoot first, ask questions. Fucking good stuff, man. Good stuff. And I love the surveillance camera. Did you notice it? It was like those fucking giant camcorders you used
Oh
to
yeah.
carry around back in the 80s. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's fucking covert. Now we've got
Mm,
like doorbell cams and shit. This thing
Yeah.
was like, it was like a tank.
Yeah. Well, think about what cell phones were like back then. They were like
Yeah.
the
these
suitcase you
gigantic
carried
bricks.
around.
Yeah. The suitcase you carry around. Exactly.
Totally. All right. So upon reaching the front entrance, Gracie is caught by the ugly monster that we won't talk about and taken to Lopan. He realizes she has green eyes too and decides to test her along with Miao Yin to see if she can tame the burning blade. Jack and company realize that Gracie got left behind and decide to regroup to return for both women. Meanwhile, both Gracie and Miao Yin pass the test to tame the burning blade, and Lopan decides he's going to marry both, but sacrifice Gracie so that he can live out his earthly pleasures with Miao Yin, therefore satisfying the god that cursed him and getting a wife. Wang and Jack go to see Egg Shen, and with the help of Chang Sings, go into an underground cavern and eventually into Lopan's offices. So, Des, you lived in San Francisco. Did you ever see anything that looked like the monster in the sewers?
Yeah, I did. But at the time we were sniffing this crystal stuff that used to keep us up for like 2 or 3 days because it was cheaper than Coke.
Oh no.
Yeah, it used to make you see shadows. And my buddy worked at this gas station overnight, and I'd hang out with him sometimes. We'd like sniff this stuff, and he's just a little tiny bit. We're like little geeks from the burbs, so we go out there and we're buying this shit, and sniff like one line, like I will stay up all night and do the gas station gig, and like you're like, and then after like fucking like a day and a half, you're like, you haven't slept. Yeah, so I saw some monsters in San Francisco.
Saw a guy poop on the sidewalk last time I was there. That's about the extent of what I saw.
Oh gosh.
I was
That's pretty
actually
bad.
telling my friend that because I lived on 6th and Mission, like right there, and I mean that's a bad part of town for little white boy from Boston, and I worked at a clothing store on Haight and Ashbury called Dajits, and I would get off the bus up on Market, and I would run as fast as I could down Mission to 6th, and there was a cage on our door, and I'd unlock it and go in and slam the cage, and I was safe. And there were cages on all the windows in the apartment, and yeah, so it was pretty crazy. And I remember these bike messengers moved in to an apartment in the building, and you could see from one of our windows into one of their windows, and they would walk around with these I mean, they look like Uzis, I don't know, but these were crazy kids. San Francisco
Yeah.
San
monsters.
Francisco. So interesting thing to point out, and I actually was watching it and I said, this kind of looks familiar to me. When they go to Egg Shen's house, or where he lives, the building he lives in, it's the fire station from Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I should
Yeah,
have
because I
seen
was like,
that.
that looks like Ghostbusters. I was like, I wonder if, and so I looked it up, and sure enough, it's the same set.
I'll bet Pat knows that fact. Yeah,
Has
he
Pat
was like,
seen this movie?
oh, of course. He's like, I can't wait to listen to this podcast. I love this movie. I can't believe you haven't seen it. So yeah. And he's a Ghostbusters geek, so I'm sure that he has
Probably knows.
yeah, he knows that fact.
All right. So Egg gives the group a potion that Jack says makes him feel invincible. They arrive at the mostly completed wedding ceremony where Lopan is once again becoming flesh. When they're spotted, a huge fight ensues, though Jack misses a good deal of it, having knocked himself up by shooting his gun off over his head, and Rubble hits him and knocks him out. And then he kills a guy with the blade of a knife in his boot and gets stuck and unable to get up because of the man's dead weight is keeping him down. Meanwhile, Wang and Rain engage in a sword fight while Lopan and Egg battle with magically generated warriors. Reaching a stalemate, Lopan grabs Miao Yin and runs just as Wang gets the upper hand and defeats Rain. Gracie and Jack return to Lopan's offices where Wang joins them. So, Tony, before we get into the final battle, we have to discuss this Donnybrook because there's a lot of fighting that happens here.
First of all, let's just go back. They drank from the seven demon bag, one of the best
Thank
you.
things ever. There's a cool
Ever.
there's a band out there named Seven Demon Bag. I try to use Seven Demon Bag in any chance I get to work in the conversation, I will work that into conversation. Just when they all drink it, and they're just the toasts are so over the top. It's like the whole like, may the wings of liberty never lose a feather. It's just like it's such
Oh,
a
yeah.
no, the wings of freedom never lose a feather. Gotta get that one right. They're so feeling kind of good. Yeah, all right, yeah, and that. It's like they're little guy in the back. He's like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah. What was that?
it's
What
this
was
is a
the
little okay.
sign?
We're doing all
It's
right.
the gang sign.
Oh
So
my God.
I love everything about that scene. It's just from Egg's one wonky eye being all excited about they're all going to drink this, and he's pouring the shots and
So good.
the smoke and the
yes.
dry ice, and everybody's like, well, fuck it, let's just do it. And everything about the elevator scene going up there, it's getting hot in here. Is this me? It's like that had to be just ad libbed. It's so like anyway.
Tony, I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually noticed as well that Egg, the face he was making when he was trying to sell them on drinking this drink, and that eye. And I'm just
eye.
like, this is fucking great.
You can't
I'm
escape
like, give
the
me
eye the whole movie. It's just you can't not look at that eye. And you always do you check the other eye, like which one's the real eye and which one's the problem eye. Does he have a
Yes.
stroke on the right and the other one's the normal one, or is the other one like he's got some like enlargement, or is which one's wrong? And they're both just fucked up. And I watched
You're
Prince
both
of
kinda
Darkness.
wrong.
Yeah, it's like they're all the same cast as in Prince of Darkness. So there's the fucking eye again. I got to look at the eye the whole movie. So it's like Jesus Christ, I can't not look at the eye.
I was a little confused by Jack not being able to push that guy, just, dump him over to the left or the right. I felt like was he playing like how soldiers back in the day when they knew their platoon was done, they would
You're gonna
drag a
pull the
dead
dead
body
body
and
out.
yeah, like I felt like maybe he was
He was
doing a
checking the
little of
oil.
that.
All right.
Yeah, he was checking the oil.
As a fat man who has worked out before, I will say there may have been times when I'm on the squat press and I can't get it up and I can't get it down. I just sit for a little while and breathe. Try to breathe without farting a lot or exploding out some sort of orifice. I can say that might be a possibility if the weight is evenly distributed on you and your knees are like that.
Let me
It's a possibility. I think he was
Oh
struggling.
shit. Oh,
I
I
think
don't
He was
want the
gonna fart.
listeners. I don't want the listeners to think Tony's fat because he's not. He's husky.
no, I'm a little thick. Husky. Husky's the nice way of saying that. Oh, did you get your tough skin on? And then they came in husky size. We got them from Sears. We go to Bradley's and get the Garanimals.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
We didn't
animals.
talk about Jack with the lipstick after the deep
Oh, we haven't
kiss,
gotten
and
there
he's
yet.
running.
No, we
Yeah.
haven't gotten there
Oh,
yet.
okay. I want to make sure we can get past
Oh
that.
no, we're gonna
So,
get that coming up.
so the Lopan versus Egg fight is my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Rock'em Sock'em
This
Robots.
is Yeah, this is
Yeah.
my favorite. They both got the rings of Schwartz on,
Yeah.
and they're going to
Oh, you
shoot the
got it like
beam up.
that.
Yes, yeah, your Schwartz. Yeah, okay. So this is the final clue that this was stolen from Mortal Kombat. Lopan
He's
is playing on.
up, down, down, A B A B.
Yes, 100%. Like I exactly. This is how that is the exact movement for the lightning bolt from Raiden.
That's
So
Oh
yeah,
awesome.
my god.
yeah.
He was
So the
he
kid
was
was
trying to
watching.
activate a cheat code.
It got to that part in the movie, and the guy went, "Holy shit! It's a fucking video game.
I can make
I'm
this.
making it.
I can make this.
Yeah, I can make this exactly."
It's the small things that I don't know. I'm not gonna say bother because it doesn't ruin anything, but it's like the escalator. There's an escalator. He comes down on an escalator.
Weird choice.
Yeah. I mean, I liked that every time we saw Demon Lopan, he was on a he was on a hoverboard and he was just, but you never saw his feet move. So even this we didn't see it. But something about it, just like, all right, we see it's an escalator. They showed it's an escalator. When did they reverse the escalator so everybody can go back upstairs? It's small,
Not to
Right.
mention,
stupid
he
things
was
like
in
that.
so many like his lifts, the shoes he was in, like they're big.
Yeah.
And if you notice at the very end when he's dead and laying on the ground, he's got these huge things.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
gigantic boots.
They didn't change
They're
them
like
out.
Frankenstein boots.
And
Yeah.
the through the air sword fight, I'm like, dude, just stay on the ground, fight each other with that. I know they were going for the we're flying and fighting, but it just that's the one of all the stupidity that went on. That's the one I'm like, all right, I can't suspend that disbelief.
Yeah.
You know what I really liked about Jack's character too was he wasn't a tough guy. Like he talked tough, and he had a ton of tough, you and I'll, but he never like went Jack Sullivan and started going fisticuffs with people. He was always the guy
Yeah,
that
he
was
punched
like,
well, he punches Rain and it, it backfires on him. So I think
Yeah.
he probably was like, I'm
Like
good.
when
Yeah.
when the gun went off in his hand and he shot the guy, the guy's like, is that the first time you plug someone?
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
It definitely
yes.
was. It
Yeah.
definitely was.
so it was,
Yeah.
but at the same time, though, I know I'm jumping ahead, but when he instantly gets the reflex, throws a knife back, we had no problem killing that. It's like, all right, so has he killed before, or is this,
Okay. Good point.
was he
Good
not? Is he
point.
faking
Point.
it?
But that's a callback to the opening scene in the movie
Oh, the
where he
reflexes.
catches the bottle.
Right.
So he's got that hand-eye coordination.
We'll get to that. That's just
Jack.
great scene.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just all the neon, all the green light, all the fog. I mean, it was just that scene was the budget, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
John Carpenter's like, all right, I want this build there. I want a jaw that opens and closes. I want a skull head that opens here. I know the Spinal Tap one was cool, but let's have this one open up. Like it'll be good.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
everything about it screamed 80s, and that's. I mean, I love it. I love the 80s, and I love that look.
Yeah,
It
I
was a
will say
beautiful.
there's a very visible zip line when Rain flies into the statue, and I was like, "Oh, that's really obvious." But you know what? Whatever. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah, but Jack actually makes light of it earlier in the movies. Like these guys are flying around on wires
Yeah.
out there, you know?
True, he
So
does say that.
yeah, you know, so Jack Carpenter say that's why I was saying, I swear this was tongue in cheek. He was like, you know, I hope they get it because I did get it on the second watch.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, on to our final scene. Thunder attacks Wang, and Lopan faces off with Jack, assuming he's going to be an easy target. Now, I'm assuming that does he still have the lipstick on his face at this point?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
kissed on the way up. He's got the lipstick on his face, so he comes out and he's got
Yes.
the bright red lips.
So
Yes.
good. And the teeth. It's
Yeah,
It's like it's
it's
everywhere.
fucking
it was a
everywhere.
good kiss.
Yeah, it
Oh
was.
my gosh. Assuming he's going to be an easy target, especially after Jack's knife throw misses him. Lopan tosses it back at Jack, who grabs it in midair and throws it back at him once again before Lopan can react, and the knife hits him right in the forehead, killing him now that he is flesh. Wang reappears with Thunder in tow, who sees his master dead and commits suicide by inflating himself so much that his flesh explodes in a really kind of odd special effects scene, but that's okay. So Jack, Wang, and Gracie and Mao Yin are cornered by lightning in a corridor. They make an escape through a hole in the ceiling with help from Egg and a grappling hook and line. Lightning tries to follow, but Egg crushes him with a statue. They find Jack's truck and make their escape back to the restaurant. With Lopan defeated, Egg decides it's time to go on vacation, while Jack returns to the open road with no promises to return, though it appears that Gracie Law would like him to. Out on the open road, Jack has an unbeknownst stowaway, one of the remaining monsters from Lopan's palace. All right, my friends, have at it.
Go ahead, Tony.
Just the big monologue, how he's going to kill him. Lopan's delivering this, you will die, and just boom, done. Like that was
Yes.
it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was like an Indiana Jones. I'm going to shoot the swordman. Like you prepped me for this big battle, and it was over in the flick of a wrist, and that made it even better than it should have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, and again, he comes out of it cool. The thunder exploding, it's always a scene that makes me go, oh, they could have done so much better with that. But again, being a PG movie, he exploded into like rags and green smoke. It wasn't even like a squish. It was just
Yeah.
and then like blah 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 blah. Nothing
Yeah.
terrible. Um
Like he was a big rubber suit or something.
yeah. Everybody gets out, they jump in, everybody's the thing that I always because I'm just doing the Spartan races, I have to climb rope. Part of the Spartan races, you have to climb up rope. Every time someone in the movie climbs a rope, I'm like, "Fuck you! It's not that easy." All right, I
Yeah,
know
you
how
gotta use
fucking
your
hard it
feet.
is. So
Gotta use your
he
knees and your
basically
feet.
has this little hand crossbow grappling hook, shoots it into the
Yeah.
ground. It pierces stone,
Yeah.
gets lodged in. He hits a button, holds it, and it's got the winch which pulls everybody to safety. This little old wonky-eyed man is basically two fingers holding this thing with the weight of four people on it, and he's got no problem doing it. I'm like, all right, there's supernatural elements, then there's just bullshit. This is bullshit.
No, he's using the black magic China
Seven demon
magic.
bag. I'm telling you, seven demon
Yeah,
bag.
that's right. There's
It
7
feels
demon
pretty
bag.
good.
You only
It's
need 2
good.
fingers. Yeah. And I want you to notice too that from the time Jack drank that drink in the elevator scene, he keeps saying, "I see things people don't see, and I can do things people don't do." So maybe he was, you know, under the spell.
It could have been. I mean, and the thing that I've always noticed but never picked out until the end is the fact that they're all in they're all in the restaurant at the end. Everybody's celebrating, and they show everybody, and they're like, "Hey, we're at the tables," and here's Egg over here hitting a bong all by
Yes, I
itself,
saw that.
and he's just this little. He hits it, and he just has a little. And laughs. It's like it's
Yeah.
the cutest little scene of this little man finally like I could finally let loose. I'm getting so stoned. I'm going to enjoy my life now because the demon's gone. It was like it's a small thing, but it's just his little.
It's like a bamboo bong.
Mm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
it's
cool. It
huge.
was
Yeah.
cool.
And just the whole ending of like Jack's getting ready to leave, puts it on, takes the check. It's like, well, maybe we could just settle down inside the back of my cab to Gracie, and she's like, well, maybe we can have a little apartment set back there. He's like, you know what? Everybody gets sick of me after a while, so that's not a good idea. Maybe we'll see you around. And he goes to leave. Aren't you even gonna kiss her? Nah.
Nope.
Fucking cool. You could not be any more cool. How cool you're the coolest character ever. Like he's not gonna like, nope, and just walks out. Like badass.
You know who's that cool? I'm going to tell you who's that cool. Cody from Streets of Fire is also that
Fuck.
cool.
He's
'Cause
retarded.
he's like,
I'm gonna say the word. He's retarded. He's just dumb.
she's like, I want you. And he's like, you know what? I'm leaving with a lesbian. Have a nice life.
You were waiting to
So
pull that on me, weren't you? Fuck you.
yes, I was. Yes, I was.
God, I hate that movie. That movie.
You know
Oh.
that John Carpenter sang Big Trouble in Little China?
I did.
Yes. Okay, so
Of course he
that's
does.
I
that's
love John Carpenter scores. I started. I mean, even before like with Halloween, I'm like, I love the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. So from that point on, I started collecting soundtracks. But what really did is I was a huge fan of Mondo. Mondo is like
Mm.
for people who don't know, Mondo is this company that until recently put out art prints out of the Alamo
cool.
Draft House in Texas. So they would get private commissions to do these small runs of really amazing like pop art movies, popular culture and movies. And I was collecting those for a long time. Got really lucky, got a whole bunch of them. But they became harder and harder to get because the runs were like 100 and you get like thousands of people trying to get them. They started putting out vinyl soundtracks with the same art on the cover. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just buy the albums. I have that. So I started collecting scores. And from that point on, everything just went down the hill, down the rabbit hole. So I'm a huge fan of collecting scores on vinyl. So at this point, I have
Oh,
hundreds of
cool.
them.
Oh, really?
And John Carpenter and Goblin, obviously the top two on my list. So I mean, John Carpenter actually toured like 7 years ago, and it was literally an evening with John Carpenter. So I went to the Royale in Boston, and it was a small club, and there's John Carpenter and a band, and a screen behind him, and he plays the theme to his movies. It was literally a
Oh,
night
that's
of movie
That's
themes,
awesome.
cool.
and it showed clips from the movies behind him, and it's just like you don't realize how much you know from him till you hear it. It's like obviously everyone knows the Halloween theme, and you might know
Yeah.
the Escape from New York, the dun 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 dun. But it was such an awesome experience, and he's such a significant, identifiable musician in his scores that this is one of the ones that I've always loved because it's so synth heavy, pop heavy, and it was basically under the soundtrack is under the Coupe de Villes is the name of the band he
Mm,
used to make the
that's right.
score. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what they meant.
this score is one of my favorites. Actually got it at
Um,
Comic Con a few years ago, an exclusive version of it, which is pretty cool.
did you bring a like a paint pen and have him sign any of those vinyls?
I did not at that time, but I do have his greatest hits album signed by him.
Oh,
I
nice.
did meet him like a year or two afterwards and got it signed. So I got that at least.
There's a guy at our flea market that has a pretty cool booth, and he sells all horror stuff. And he's got like some a bunch of Friday the 13th promo pictures signed by the different actors in the movie. I think he's got the Jason, a guy who played
Kane
Jason,
Hodder and
one
all them,
side.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're all like around $50 or something.
Cool.
So I thought that was interesting. I always think you want to see it. I'm like, we should get that for Tony. And I'm like, we'll buy a
Ah,
fucking
fuck him.
silver
Let him do it
coin
himself.
fucking.
Fuck him. Why are we buying him anything, bastard?
You know what? I bought Pat a pack of cigarettes today. He's like, dude, I got no butts. We're at work. I'm like, fucking all right. So drove up to the store. I got a nice coffee. I bought him a pack of cigarettes. I'm like, thanks for doing all the podcasts. He's like, great, man.
You're paying people off in packs of smokes.
That's your year
It
bonus.
was a good fucking year at the Bender house, I'll tell you that.
Nice.
Well played.
All right. So I think we did it, yeah?
Are we gonna do
5.
the recasting couch?
5.
Oh, we are gonna do the recasting couch. I didn't think of it,
Oh.
but all right, yeah, let's do it. Can I go first?
What's the
Yeah.
what's the cat recasting couch?
Oh, okay. This is where you have to take one character from the movie
Yeah.
and recast them with another actor. that
Oh,
would
And it can
work, that
be
would make
like,
the movie work.
and they could be
Yeah,
now, they can be
yeah.
then, it doesn't
Yeah, it could
matter.
be an actor, and you could pick the time frame from when he was. And it's funny because I'm going to cheat this week because last week, um, I swapped out. Who did I swap out?
Are you
Honey?
serious right now?
Yes, we just broke down my San Francisco
it
experience. So
was
yes,
it was Bridesmaids. So who'd you switch out?
No, it wasn't Bridesmaids. It
Wasn't
was
Bridesmaids the last one?
mm-mm.
no, it
It
was
was
yeah. Oh, honey, what's your excuse? Were you sniffing crystal meth in
I
San
was
Francisco?
I was sniffing glue.
Oh God.
I forget.
Um, we did it with Pat. Come on. Fucking
Oh
oh,
God.
okay, Lethal Weapon. Lethal
Oh
Weapon.
yeah,
So
thank you.
I swapped Lethal Weapon 4. It was Lethal Weapon 4.
Okay.
So I swapped out Mel Gibson with Kurt Russell. This week I'll be switching out Kurt Russell with Mel Gibson.
No, that's
So
not going to work.
Mel Gibson is the role of Jack.
Oh
But
my
it's funny.
gosh.
I actually chose that last week before I watched the movie. Now watching the movie, I don't think that Mel Gibson would work
I
in
don't
the
think he
role.
has the comedic
So
chops.
yeah, so I'm gonna take Pat what's his name? Pat Mariota? Pat
Marita
Yeah.
Pat
You going to
Morita.
swatch out for
And
eyeball?
and for egg.
for egg,
All
yes. So
right.
that's my choice. So Pat Morita for egg.
Dylan, won't you
All
go? I
right,
need a minute.
Tony.
I need a
Oh,
minute.
okay. He needs a minute. Okay, so my choices are a little on the weird side. I'm gonna recast Gracie Law,
Yeah.
and my first choice is a little on the nose, but Goldie Hawn. Goldie Hawn.
No, you
She's
know
got
who it
so
is?
hold on. She's got so much chemistry with Kurt Russell because they're what do you don't do that.
That's a really good idea. I like that.
Like tons of chemistry, but then also if you want to go a little bit more innocent, Valerie Bertinelli. Yes. Think about
His
it.
co-star in Jewel of the Nile would have been a perfect.
Honey, he wasn't in Jewel of the Night.
That was Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, Kathleen Turner, the one from Man with Two Brains.
Yeah.
She would have been a perfect yeah, she
All
would have
right.
been. Oh wait, Kurt Russell wasn't.
It was
Oh,
Michael
Michael
Douglas.
Douglas.
it was Michael Doug. Okay, so for that
It was
movie, I'm
Chris
swapping out
Christopherson is who
Michael
it was.
Douglas.
It's Chris
I'm swapping out Michael Douglas with fucking Kurt Russell. I think Kurt Russell.
Christopherson.
I think Kurt Russell actually. All right, so guys, does Kurt Russell make *Romancing the Stone* a better movie?
I hate to say no
Yes. Oh no,
because
yes.
I like Michael Douglas in it. Michael Douglas is actually really good in that movie. It's one of the few that I don't feel he overacts, and he is just goofy enough that I think it works for him. I think Kurt Russell would be too Jack Burton in it, and he's already done
Maybe.
Jack
Mm,
Burton. I don't want to see him do Jack Burton in a different movie. I like him in this one because that movie was too serious of a movie, whereas this one was a caricature movie.
right.
He would have
Now,
been out of place in it. I feel.
right here, right there above me, what I'm looking up at is a giant framed poster of Wall Street. So that's my Michael Douglas. Like it's my shrine to Michael Douglas. This is one of my favorite movies of all times, which we will be eventually reviewing. But yeah, it's right there, glorious, right? I wake up every morning and I say, "What's up, Gordon? Let's go get it today."
Some
I haven't got it yet, but I'm hoping my day is coming.
I'm gonna do Gracie Law too because I can't think of any really cool Asian actors who anyone will know.
What about Jet Li? Let's put Jet Li in this
No,
movie.
it's anyone who's like a big name isn't gonna work in there. I think I would like to see Adam's Family Values era Joan Cusack as Gracie Law.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think
I'll
she
take
has
that.
just enough tongue in cheek. The same way Jack Burton was played serious, but was so stupid. She plays serious, but is just dumb. If you think about her in
Right.
School of Rock, opposite Jack Black, that's the character I think it should be. Someone who's just surrounded by chaos, but has no idea the chaos she's in.
Malibu Barbie. I
Malibu
wanted
Barbie.
ballerina Barbie.
All right, so let's just say it was Mel Gibson, Pat Mariota, and
Mariota.
Pat Marriott, and the one that Tony just
That
said.
chick, yeah. watch it.
Okay, does that movie work? Do we like this movie?
Not a bit.
Sure.
No.
Why
Not
not?
a bit. I'm with Tony. Not a bit. This movie's terrible.
You can't have Arnold
Oh.
from Happy Days for getting a 7 demon bag. Sorry. Ain't
We
happening.
can't. All right. How about Henry Winkler with his thick thighs as Jack Burton?
Thighs. I don't think I
All
ever
right,
realized
let's.
Henry Winkler had thick thighs.
Oh, you kidding me? He's got thick thighs and those tight jeans. Yeah, he's got thick thighs.
I'm gonna have to
He's
check
got
his.
weirdly thick
I
thighs.
think you're obsessing about his thick thighs.
He has strangely thick thighs. We already broke this down with Mickey on a previous
All right.
podcast.
I think this is the most
Okay.
times I've ever said thick thighs in a row. So it feels weird. Thick thighs, thick thighs, thick thighs.
And this is why your son is not enjoying this podcast with
Very
you.
true.
Because he goes to school going, Henry Winkler has thick thighs.
That's okay. Like,
Okay.
who's Henry Winkler?
Okay. So let's give our rewatch scores for this one. Tony, go ahead. What's your rewatch score for
It's-
Big Trouble in Little
It's
China?
rare that I'd give a 5, but man, I love this movie. It's just fun.
It's 5?
I gotta give it like a 4.99. With
Okay, I like
with the
that.
creature and the exploding thunder as being the only 0.01 bad things about it. Outside of that, I
Okay.
love it.
So I like that you're saving that 5. I think you gave Jaws a 5.
I'll always give Jaws a 5.
Okay. Dylan, what's your score for Big Trouble in Little China?
I'm gonna give it a 4.2 because I really thought it was. I gotta be honest. First of all, it passed the phone test. I did not pick up my phone once, and I've
Ooh.
seen it before. So that passing the phone test is pretty good. So pass the phone test. It was way better than I remembered it. And I mean, I had seen it probably maybe like 5-6 years ago, and I forgot most of it. And way better. I was like, it's really kind of campy. It's really kind of stupid in places. And I was like, yeah, it kind of is, but it was entertaining. So 4.2.
Nice.
All right. And just for pacing and the monster, I'm going to give this a 4.5 as well. I wasn't even near that on the first watch, but you know what? I am not going to. It's Jack Burton. And that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm giving him a 4.5. The character's fucking great. So with a 4.5, 4.95, and whatever the fuck the Lynn said, we're gonna give this we're gonna give this movie a 4.80. It's fucking good, man. If you haven't seen it, go see it. What's wrong with you? What are you sniffing crystal meth in San Francisco?
7 demon bag, baby. 7 demon bag.
Oh shit.
Sniffing out of the 7 demon bag.
Oh fuck. All right, Dylan, tell the listeners where they can find the podcast.
All right. You can find us at Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie at gmail.com if you'd like to email us. We are at Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yep, just come find us. You'll find us. We're there.
Okay.
We got to do video for this because watching you try to remember that was awesome.
I'm like,
if you want to contact the podcast, give us any feedback or even pick a movie for us to review. If we like it, maybe we'll consider doing it, give you a shout out. As always, I like watching movies from opposite ends of the house from you and then reviewing them, even though today we did watch it a second time together. And every time we do that, it is a little strange. I'd like to avoid that in the future. Tony, once again, always full of great information, great podcaster, a shitload about movies. So whenever you come on the podcast, it almost feels like a real movie review podcast, which is nice. I mean,
guess, thanks.
it's nice.
you give us the air legitimacy.
Yeah. You give us a saison of a real movie
back to that.
podcast, which is nice.
He loves that word.
Yeah.
I do. We'll be back next week where we will be reviewing Boondock Saints with Mickey. I don't know if this is a comedy or is it a satire movie? I don't know.
I always took it as an action movie.
Okay.
With action movie with William Dafoe in it. That's really William Dafoe is its own genre.
Okay, yeah, he is his own genre. And then after that, we'll be back with Office Space with Pat, and there'll be another movie, I believe, in between that. And then Tony, if you are on board, we're going to do the thing with you next.
Love it.
Oh, I can't wait. I love that movie.
All right. So until next time, I only have one question for you. Hey, did you ever see that movie? See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
This is Jack Burton in the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to anyone out there that's listening. Tony, take it.
I don't know what the hell you're trying to do. Hey, you ever see that movie?
All right, there we go. This is Jack Burton in the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to anyone that's listening out there. Okay,
Yeah.
fuck that. I wanted to use that as the intro before the music came on, but I just can't read this sentence
I
properly.
actually think it's probably funnier this way.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. All right, here we go.
3, 2.